Hello, Africa. My name is Eunice Tony, and you are watching the eTV Ghana's African Women's Voices show, the show that tackles with issues pertaining to women as they contribute to national development. Wow, it's been another 1 week, and I want to say I'm so happy to see you, and I hope you had a great time. For those of you who could not watch me on Tuesday, I hope you did watch it on Saturday at 12 noon, because that's when we have our repeat broadcast. Okay, I want to let you know that I am beautifully clothed by Buretex Clothing, and you can locate her at the Airport West area around Naho Clinic at the railway line. And also, I'd like to let you know that we've got an interesting lineup for you today, so you need to sit back and enjoy everything we're going to be saying to you today, because I have a very sharp, intelligent, smart lady who is poised and ready to deliver on our topic for today. And as usual, I'm going to keep you in suspense. And when I come back, then I'm going to let you know who it is that we're speaking to today. I also have a message from Chana Shito. Last week, most of you saw Chana Shito, and we gave away some very special prizes and gifts to people who called in and even to the guests. And feedback has been coming in that Chana Shito is really tasty. And I'd like to say, if you've not tried Chana Shito, please try and get it from the various shopping malls, and you're going to be very happy you did. Chana Shito, Chana Shito, Chana Shito. Voltic is also one of our sponsors, and they want to keep us hydrated in this COVID times. Voltic is saying that once you take your water, twist it and get it recycled, because there are various bins at vantage points where you could just drop your Voltic bottle. So twist and recycle it, and as you drink it, just keep saying Voltic naturally. Voltic naturally. Right, we're going to be going over to the 60 seconds update, and when we return, we'll be introducing our guests to you. Do stay tuned.
Abiola Bewa nominated for Women Empowerment category. The Abiola Bewa Foundation is pleased to announce that Abiola has been nominated in the Women Empowerment category at the Millennium Excellence Awards 2020. This comes as a result of her outstanding support for women empowerment by empowering girls, especially in the rural communities. Upon hearing her nomination, she expressed that it's refreshing, not because I have been nominated, but that the diligent work we are doing at Abiola Bewa Foundation will be recognized. We are empowering girls for a promising future. Mrs. Abiola Bewa said in the last year's press briefing that they will continue their dedication to increase the number of deprived and disadvantaged girls, so they are open to funding and support from donors and activist groups who are passionate as they are. Recovered COVID-19 patient delivers healthy baby and no longer traumatized by stigma. Matilda Agamu, a recovered patient who was stigmatized by members of her community at Bolgatanga in the Upper East region, has given birth to a healthy new baby. Matilda was the first coronavirus patient in the Upper East region. She was diagnosed whilst pregnant, but despite having been treated, declared recovered and discharged. She was stigmatized together with her husband by the people she once knew as friends and families. Due to lack of finances during the childbirth, the MP of Bolgatanga Central, Isaac Adongo, and other organizations made some donations to her and the family. Matilda said, after the delivery, nothing about her previous COVID-19 status was ever mentioned by the doctor. She and her newborn baby are healthy. They also pleaded with the community that they did not fight the sickness and that anyone else can be affected. Ghanaians are ready to go back and hide their sins in the church by Yvonne Nelson. In the 10th address to the nation by the President of Ghana, restrictions placed on churches were eased, paving way for them to assemble to worship, observing all protocols. But actress Yvonne Nelson, who does not seem too happy about the easing of the restriction, has come hard at Christians in Ghana, tweeting, "Some people go to church to show off, look for partners, gossip, make money by sharing flyers, and very few to worship. I hear the marriage materials are in church, as well as men who beat their wives and cheat on them. Pastors select their chicks in the congregation. Don't worry, I'm up to something." It is unclear what she has up her sleeve, but the world awaits the next revelation from the actress.
Welcome back to the African Women's Voices show on eTV Ghana. Just before we went on the break, I told you I'll be introducing my guest to you. But before I do that, I'd like to give you a message from GBA, and it says it's time to recognize and reward outstanding companies in the beverage industry. On the 13th of June 2020 at 6 p.m., we're going to be live on eTVGH and GBA Facebook Live. So be part of excellence from the comfort of your home as we find out who wins the following categories: international spirit, international liquor, beer, water, international liquor, and then amongst others, and who takes home the most coveted product of the year award. Ghana Beverage Awards is in partnership with Ghana Tourism Authority, Food and Beverage Association of Ghana, Consumer Protection Agency, Food Research Institute of Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, Perception Management International, Sansika Stores, and our media partners. And we also have another message here for you, and it's another exciting one which has to do with your personal protective equipment. In this COVID times, people keep saying you have to wear your face masks, you have to do ABC and all of that. Well, there's this company that wants to make it very easy for you to reach, and they are Thundermaster. Thundermaster says, stay safe and protected with Thundermaster, dealers in quality and affordable PPEs, such as disposable protection face masks, KN95, that's the one they sell. So, I mean, the specification is KN95. Face shields, goggles, thermometers, powdered examination gloves, disposable protective clothing, etc. They also offer wholesale supplies as well as retail, and they can deliver to you within Accra and Tema. Locate Thundermaster within the Thai Massage Building in Osu and also in Community 12 Tema or Edum Market in Kumasi. You can also reach them on phone via 059 5161 205 or 059 24 06 921. And then one more number you could reach them on is 0244 546 844. Thundermaster, your health is our concern. Now it's time for us to delve into the business of the day, and join me as I make welcome our smart and intelligent guest, and she's no other person than Genevieve. Genevieve, you're very welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
All right, people, I'd like to let you know that Genevieve is very, very interested when it comes to empowerment for women. She really is interested in financial empowerment for women, and also she also has got a lot of things around the youth that she likes to do, and I'd like her to at least give us a little bit heads up on it. So what were you telling me that you do for the youth?
So I am very passionate about leadership mindset shift for the youth, and also how to try and get our children from ages 5 to 12 to get aware or be aware of leadership right from the beginning. Because doing these stuff with the youth, I realized that we have quite a serious problem. So when we try to get the children from age 5 to understand what leadership is all about, then by the time they get to 13, when they are big girls and big boys, we already have this embedded in them. And then, like they say, you catch them young. So basically,
wow, that's interesting. Do you know what? I never thought that we could teach a child as young as 5, how to be a leader.
It's very possible.
And they will understand.
Club. Yes, and they will understand.
Oh, wow. Okay, you're going to tell us more about that maybe towards the end of the show.
No problem at all.
And today, people, we're going to be talking about financial management in the home, because this is something that we've realized over time that people keep asking us questions around. People really want to know how they can be economical at home, how they can spend whatever it is they are making. Sometimes people say something like, I don't receive that much. It's a miracle I'm able to go through the month. So it's a miracle is what we all keep saying, because it's like when you calculate how much you've spent the entire month, you just keep wondering, how did I get the extra cash to be able to survive this? Well, we have our financial expert here who's going to try and help us to find out ways that we could get better empowerment around our finances. Okay, so when we say financial management in the home, what would you want to say around it? If we say, okay, we need to know how to, better manage our finances at home, what would you say it means?
Okay, to make it very simple, I would like to say that managing of anything, it's putting plan to it. So if you say financial management, you're just trying to manage your money. You know what is coming in and you know what is going out. So you have a plan for your money. Basically, that's how I'll put it.
Perfect. And I think I like it that way too, because it makes it very easy
Simple.
for whoever is watching to understand. So it's all about how you're going to be able to manage your money better. All right. So let's say, is there a certain amount of money that I need to be earning to then say, okay, then I can save or then I can manage? But because I don't earn up to this amount of money, I don't think I should be able to manage my funds.
Thank you. That's very interesting because I hear that a lot. But there is a rule that I'll just say. Money is never enough. No matter how much you earn, it comes with responsibilities. So if you are earning $1 today or $1 or £1, whatever you are earning, there should be a plan to how you manage it. So I use a very simple term. I call it the 50-30-20 rule.
Okay.
Of managing my finances. So I'm sure as we go on, I'll delve better into it. So basically, no matter how little you earn, you should be able to put your money to a better use. You should be able to manage the finances well, because if you don't, if you get it even in billions, you cannot manage it. Because once you can manage the little, it will be difficult to manage
the
exactly.
big one. Okay, so if you're that person who asked that question before we started the show, I hope you've gotten your answer now. Genevieve is saying that if you cannot manage the little you have, it will be very difficult for you to be able to manage the big one. Now, coming back to the house, who do you think is a better manager? Controversial, huh?
This is very controversial, I must say. But like we all know, and I'm sure the men out there will bear me witness, we all know it, that women are the best managers, right?
Yeah.
But I know some men who are also very good with managing money. So to play the devil's advocate, I'll say both parties. It depends on who psychs him or herself to do it and do it well.
Okay.
But like we all know in our cultural sense, let me put it in Ghana, we would normally want the woman to be in charge of managing home affairs. So if we are talking about home, then it means that wherever the money is coming from, it will end up with the woman to manage it and manage it well. So that's what I would say. Both men and women can be very good at managing money. I know a few men who are really good at managing money. I tell you.
Okay, all right. So just that sometimes women feel that there's too much, focus on them when it comes to managing money. You've given me money to manage, and I'm trying my best, with it. But sometimes it feels like, oh, you're not managing it well enough. Why are you asking me for much more again when I gave you this amount of money? So it's bringing me to the question of how should, a family decide, or how would they decide as to how much they would try and manage?
Okay, as in how much they would spend on the home.
Yes.
In terms of needs. Because, we have needs, we have wants.
Wants.
So I'll go back to the 50-30-20 rule that I use. It works for me. I don't know about others. But because I am on the show today, I would use my principles or my philosophy as a template.
Okay.
So that whoever finds it good would use that. So the 50 is basically whatever you earn. The 50% is going to your needs.
Okay.
I would emphasize your needs. So the things that are very important in the home, you cannot do without. Then the 30% goes to your wants, because like we all know, there are things that like DSTV, like buying Wi-Fi for the home and the kids. In today's COVID, everybody's using Zoom and all that to learn. So you need it. Although it wasn't too necessary, today it is. So it's not like a need because you can do without, but you have to do it because you want it. And then travel falls under wants, because it's not essential that you travel. If you don't have the money, you don't have to travel. You just don't
have to go anywhere.
And then the 20% goes into savings. Somebody may ask, how much do I earn for me to save 20% of my income? But like I said, it is a rule and a principle that works. Probably yours will be 10% of your income into your savings. Somebody's will be 15. Somebody will even go beyond my own, which is 20. Somebody would want to say, I would prefer 30 for my savings and then 20 rather for my wants. And then 50 goes into my needs, because the needs are things that we cannot do without. Exactly. So I would say that no matter how little you earn, you just have to put a rule in terms of how you manage your finances. And then when you do that, you realize that no matter how little you put aside, you know, these are the very necessary things I need to do every month, month on month. You cannot negotiate. You cannot negotiate your rent. You cannot negotiate and say, I don't want to use light this month, so I'm not going to buy electricity. So these are essentials. So the needs you dedicate, somebody can say, maybe I don't stay home too much, so probably I don't need a lot of electricity. So maybe I would spend 50, somebody might spend 40% on that. But let it be a basic rule that you can do 50, 30, 20. You can do 40, 30, 30. It depends on what works for you.
Okay, interesting. So now we're going to break it down into monetary terms. So let's say, for instance, you're earning 500 Ghana cedis in the home. So it means that out of 500 Ghana cedis, 50% of
which is 250
cedis should go into the needs.
Exactly.
Those things that you cannot do without. And then the 30 will have to be 30% of the balance of the 250, right?
No. So you have 500. So 250, which is 50%, is already gone.
It's gone.
That's for your needs. So now you have another 25.
Yeah.
That is 250. You have another 50%, sorry, that is 250 of the 500.
Yeah.
So out of that 250, 30%, that's for me,
that 250,
goes
right?
into my wants. And
So
then
30% of that 250.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Goes into my wants. And then the last bit, which is the 20%, goes into my savings. But I want to emphasize that even with your wants, there is a way you can squeeze some and put aside as savings. Because if let's say I want to travel is not every month. So if I'm putting some money aside for travel, it's more like I'm saving the money, but I'm saving it towards a particular goal.
Okay.
You get it? Yes. So that's where I'll draw the difference.
All right. So let's take, for instance, now, you know, in a case whereby your 250, which is your 50%, and part of the needs, you know, by the time you calculate, is actually more than the 250 cedis. So how do we work around that? How do we prioritize?
How do we balance it?
Yes.
Okay. So, you know, budgeting is all about putting a balance or equilibrium between your income and your expenses. So, you know, you get 500. You know the 250 is going, but then it's not enough for you because, like you said, women will end up spending more than what we've been asked to spend. Because sometimes we realize that although we don't really need this, now it's very important. We need it. We want it. So we have to squeeze something from the 25% or the 250 that is left to balance what we have already estimated that we're going to spend.
Okay.
But I'm sure because we've put a budget in place, we are not going to do this every month. So you not give excuses and say, oh, this month too, I need to take something small, because once you do that, remember that you cannot discipline. So it gets on like that, and you cannot stick to the simple rule that you've made for yourself.
Perfect. So, viewers, we're going to be going for a quick commercial break. When we return, we'll continue with how to break down our money. We'll be right back. And you are welcome back. If you just joined us, you've missed, some part of the show, but I'm going to just take you through again part of what we've already discussed, just to put you up to speed. What we've been discussing, we are discussing financial management in the home, and this is because here at GMA Group, at eTV, Happy FM, and YFM, we are celebrating, our financial month. So this entire month, every conversation is going to be around our finances, because it's something that we really have to pay great attention to, especially in these times when we are seeing ourselves spending a lot more than we expected to spend. So stay tuned, and you're going to really enjoy the show with us. So before we went on the break, we were talking about how you should be able to manage your money. And Genevieve made us to understand that if you earn maybe 1,000 Ghana cedis, or if 500 Ghana cedis is what you're earning, you need to be able to, take half of it, 50%, and set it aside as what you're going to be spending on your needs. So she has a rule, a 50, a 30 and a 20% rule. But the 20% could be 10% to you or 5% as the case may be, depending on how your finances come through. So it's not compulsory that you must go by the 50, 30 and the 20. But for her, that's what's comfortable for her. But at the end of the day, what we want you to be able to achieve is to at least be able to save something. We do not want you to go through the entire month without having, being able to get to save something. So that's where we stopped. And as we have come back, we're going to continue with our conversation around, managing our finances at home. So I remember that we talked about the fact that, okay, women, well, most of the time here in Ghana, they manage the finances, and the men, well, culturally, we are okay with having our wives, handle the finances. So it brings us to the conversation around if you are a beginner. So probably both of you just got married, so you've not started having children, so you're just starting your home. Is there a particular conversation that you need to have around finances before, you start life, as spouses? Because sometimes we all get married and we do not have that financial conversations. And then later on, it looks like, okay, somebody doesn't feel okay and all of that. We want to ask the experts right now, is it really necessary to have that financial conversation after getting married?
That's interesting. For me, I'll say yes. I'll say yes. I'll take a stand. I'll say yes. Okay. Because, you see, once two different people have come together, I may have come from a background that's saving has been my culture. Somebody might not have come from that background. Another thing is that it's a new responsibility. You're going to have different things that probably you don't find necessary. So they might not be my needs, but they might be the needs of my partner.
Okay.
You get my point?
Yes.
You would also have to remember that you're now going to start a family. Probably you don't have kids now, but kids will come in. When kids comes in, definitely the way we manage home changes, because you'll be buying things that under normal circumstances were not needed. But now diapers will be needed, and it's a need. You can't negotiate.
Consistently.
You can't negotiate. Water, if you buy water in your area or you even pay for water bills, you will need more water because consistently you need water for the baby, to care for the baby. Another thing is that you will need money to buy the baby food. So, the dynamics there changes. So what I would say is that, yes, once you marry, I would even advise that you have these conversations proud to being together, as in proud to living together, because we all know that before marriage we'll do some courtship and we'll talk about things that matter to us. So I think it's important for you to discuss this during courtship, and when you marry, during your honeymoon, when you're having all the fun, there's no tension. So these are better times to talk about some of these things, because I think that once you discuss these things, you put them into perspective, and then you are all aware that, okay, we're not going to give a hard and a fast rule, but we want to put measures in place so that we can be prepared for the family that we are going to have.
Okay, so if you've not had that conversation, it's not too late to have the conversation. We need you to be able to start it right. So if you're married already and maybe 5 years, 7 years into your marriage, you never had a financial conversation, it's still not late for you to have that conversation. You need to sit down and say, okay, based on what we were, taught today on eTVGhana's African Women's Voices show, I think we should do something like this. And then you see where your partner probably will want to make adjustments and also try to understand where you're also coming from, with all the love. And we would want to hear about how it went and how you're trying to cope with your finances. So now coming back to you again, I was going to say, if it happens that now you've started life, you've discussed about, okay, when we have a baby, we are going to be able to do A, B, and C, and baby eventually arrives. Everybody's happy. Sometimes
the excitement.
The excitement and everything. And then it makes you feel like, okay, we'll be able to handle this. Baby has arrived. We planned for it, so we are sure that everything is fine. Because no one knows what to expect ahead of time. You know that, okay, we planned that we're going to be setting aside 200 CDs for baby. And baby ends up spending, much more
than that.
What do we do in a case like this? What does it mean that we should begin to reduce, much more, like instead of setting aside maybe the 50, we should come down to 20 and all of that.
Okay.
What do you advise we do?
So, like I said, you know, there are things that we don't have control over. We all know that we make room for, let's say, budgets and all that to guide us, but it should not control us. So it should guide us. We are human. I mean, once we don't have control over something, we all didn't know COVID was coming, but COVID has come. Our kids are home. We are spending more than we had planned to spend in terms of taking care of children at home because they go to school and all that. So I'll say that yes, baby has come. You need to adjust. So the word here is adjustment. You need to adjust your budget. You need to adjust your finances. So probably if you were spending 50 on the home already for needs, now it means that you're going to spend more, because probably baby needs to spend like 20% of what you would have kept for your travel, for your DSTV, for your hair, for your nails, and all that. You get it. Those are wants. So baby has come. Baby needs some of that money. So then you tap into that and then you add it to your 50. So now probably your 50 is now going to be like 70%. When you do 70%, you're left with just 30. The question here is, how do I save out of my 30%? Even if it's 5% that you can save out of it 30, I'll say you should still do it. Because you see, it's just a principle that guides you, but it should not control you. So you need to make some adjustment when need be.
Okay. All right. So let's take, for instance, we are faced with this situation where we need to make the adjustments. Part of what we want to do now is to seek new ways, you know, to make money. So maybe we have to add some kind of business to what we're doing. Because we're talking about our finances and how to manage our finances, how do we, you know, decide on what it is we're going to do? Because let's remember, already we are already exhausting what we have, so there's no capital. How do we work around, you know, having an extra, you know, stream of income? Okay.
If we are talking about both parties, men and women, but I'll start with the women. Like we have a saying that women are jugglers. We juggle a lot of things together. Women have a whole lot of untapped potentials in them. Sometimes we are passionate about something, but we've not turned our passions into income generating passions. So we do stuff like, I used to bake.
Okay.
I used to bake. And honestly speaking, I bake out of passion. So I don't bake to sell. But when need arises, I would bake to sell.
Okay.
I do stuff like fascinators with my hands. I didn't really learn it. I do decorations. I can sit down and in 30 minutes plan a whole event.
Wow.
You get it. It's a gift. I'll say it's a potential or a talent God has given me. So it's just up to me to untap that potential and derive money from it. Because whatever talent God gives us, He gives it to us to be able to make our life easier. So if I can make money out of my passion, why not? You get my point.
Okay.
So probably you might love to talk to children, or you might love to read for children. Maybe you love to read for your child when your child is about sleeping. Yeah. It's a passion. Probably I would not be able to do that consistently, but you love to do it. So it's something that you can work on and derive money from it. So you start a night program for kids where you actually now, Zoom is teaching us a lot of, or COVID is making all of us know that using digital means it's very possible.
It's very
so
possible.
You come out with a business that fits your passion. We have a lot of our husbands or men who are very good when it comes to accounting. You don't need to sit in an office to check on somebody's books. Once you get the information, you can sit in the comfort of your home and use your accounting background to do bookkeeping for a small business. That is extra income for you. We have people who know how to braid. So now we all know women, we love the wig caps.
Yes.
So if you are good with your hands and you can braid easily, that's like a side business for you already. You get it?
Okay.
So there are so many little things that probably we are not focusing on. But my advice is that we should start focusing on these little things. That will help us juggle some more and put some more income in our pockets.
Oh, that's perfect, because we're getting the questions coming through, and I want to believe that your question has been answered. So her answer to your question is that you just need to be able to turn your passion into a money-making venture. So it's not something that you need to like spend so much, because already you don't have enough to be able to, you know, have a capital. So if it's something that you love, so about having to braid hair, you don't need any capital. All you need is just to let your friends know, okay, I can braid your hair. And now the internet has made it a lot easier for us. So you just do it and you film yourself and then put on Instagram and then people are beginning to call you. I needed to do what you did, you know, and then that's how money comes in. So you need to be able to make extra money once you see that the need has arisen. But sometimes people just want to wait. We are advising, if you have the time, there's no need for you to wait. You could just put together that business plan and ensure that you are just getting on with it. And before you know it, that small business is going to grow and turn itself into something really big. So since we're talking about financial management in the home, we are moving towards the children now. How do we set aside money for the children? So baby has arrived and our children, you know, maybe after 2 years have to go to school. So we need to begin to plan towards that as well. So how do we also apportion money to be able to take care of that?
Okay, so I'll go back and say it all boils back to the fact that you need to have financial goals. We all know that we set goals in different aspects of our lives. So once baby has come, you need to start saving for the baby as well. But because already you have a rule that is working for you, whether it's 30, 30, 30 or 30, 30, 40 or 50, 30, 20, whichever one you've decided for yourself. What happens is that baby has come. So if you were doing 20 and now you think because the baby has come, I need to set something aside for nursery. So I need to start saving probably out of my savings. I need to put 10 aside for just baby. Or probably I need to tap into my wants. So maybe you have to forgo travel for 3 years because you need to focus on baby. Or probably you need to forgo changing of, I keep doing this because women, we are women and we all know.
And we do love it.
Our wardrobe issues, yeah, you know. So probably you have to forgo too much focus on the wardrobe and reduce some of the things that you can actually live without and focus more on putting something aside for baby. I know a few people who, even before the baby comes, they've already made provision. They start putting something aside, which is very good. But if you already are in the marriage and you don't have what it takes to be putting it aside, like we've said, there are different ways of doing things. So even if it's 5% that you can put aside for baby, plan towards it. When the time comes, because you've already put some savings aside, what happens is that you can always take that, add it to whatever you have set aside for baby, and then use it for baby.
Okay. All right. So we are still talking about how we'll be able to save around our children. Then we are coming to how do we invest? Because we also need to be able to put money somewhere that will yield money for us. Is it something we need to consider as well, knowing very well that we've got very tight budgets? How do we work that one out? Is it with the savings that we have that we need to invest, or we need to separate the savings again and put some aside and then invest some? What would you advise we do? Because we would want to invest at least to be able to get something out of it.
Okay, so investment is basically growing your money. So the point is that what you are saving it because you are saving it for a particular goal. So out of your savings, because already remember, the first part is for your needs. So that one you can't negotiate
at all.
The second part, which is the wants, where you have it, so somewhat of, I'll say, flexibility, how much you decide to put aside for that kind of want. You can always add that if you have surplus. You can always add it to your savings. But the savings is where the focus is. That is what you would need to invest. But you see, investment is a broad topic. We can't talk about investment here, but just to touch a little bit of investment, we have different forms of investment.
Okay.
So probably you want to grow your money. The best way is because you want to put this money aside, and it might be a year, it might be 6 months, it might be 2 years, everybody and their financial goals. So if mine is a short-term goal, like I want to keep this money for maybe the next 1 year, baby would have to go to nursery, or your child will go to nursery at probably 2 years. So you know the focus is 2 years. Based on that, you can determine which kind of investment tool you are going to use. Whether it's going to be a short-term investment, a medium, or a long-term investment. So basically, I'll say it depends on the individual. But definitely, you need to grow your money. So even the savings, don't keep it at home. Keep it in a saving that is yielding good returns. So even if it's, banks have, I work in a bank, I wouldn't want to I'll be told that I'm portraying my bank, but I'll not mention my bank, but I'll mention some products that banks have, and definitely I'll mention a product of my bank. So for instance, we have a product called Flip. So Flip is the F, I'll make it silent, but lifestyle investment plan. So the F didn't come because that will tell you which bank I'm coming from. So the lifestyle investment plan, it's more like I have a goal and I'm saving towards my goal. So although it's a savings, I'm not just leaving it in my savings account, because savings account might give me just maybe 3% to 6% or 3% to 8% depending on the bank. But with the Flip I'm talking about, it's like, if you've heard of treasury bills,
yes,
it's more like treasury bills. So banks have different forms of products that can grow your money for you. So the advice is that don't keep your money just in your savings account. Put it in a growth yielding or a good returns investment that can give you some money back.
Okay, nice. Oh, okay. Somebody just sent a message. Okay, I just typed it in on my Facebook and I've gotten to nowhere. Okay, I know where to go now. Okay, so please, when you go and open your Flip account, let us know, how it's been and how it's working, okay? Because we want a lot of you to also be opening your Flip accounts, because if we are teaching you to better manage your money, it's just best that you do it the right way.
Best practice, yeah.
So we're going to be opening the phone lines, and we expect you to be calling us soon after we go after this commercial break. When we return, the phone lines are going to be opened to you. Stay tuned. And you're welcome back. Just before we went on the commercial break, we were having a very nice time, and I think I would like you to get to know better the person who is speaking to us, because some of you have been sending in so many questions, and we'd like you to know who it is, so that after now you can always chase after her on Facebook and her social media platforms for further conversations around what she knows in financial management. So our guest, if you just joined us, is Genevieve Pearl Duncan Obobi. She's a career woman, a mother, and a wife, and she's a branch manager of Fidelity Bank's flagship branch, ANC Mall. So you that typed in the Flip account, I'm sure that you found Fidelity Bank, so that's where she works. So Genevieve is currently a doctoral student of Swiss Business School and holds a master's degree from University of Ghana Business School and a bachelor's from JIMPA. Hey, I also went to JIMPA. Genevieve is an old student of Agri Memorial Zion School. She's also a certified relationship and personal development coach and knowledge broker with special interest in personal development, customer experience, leadership, entrepreneurship, and personal branding. Genevieve was the winner of the 2018 prestigious CEIBS Alumni Excellence Award and also the prestigious Chartered Institute of Leadership and Governance, CILG, Ghana Personality of the Year 2019. Hey! And also all in recognition of community work and leadership drive to impact others. She's very passionate about leadership mindset shift amongst the youth and financial empowerment for women, which she's doing for us. And I can see all the questions that are dropping. And anyway, if we have much of the time, we're going to be able to answer some of them. If not, we'll have to call her back to continue the conversation with us, and I hope you're going to come.
I will, definitely.
All right. She loves teaching, traveling, reading, and spending time with her loved ones. Wow. What a beautiful profile. So this is to let you know that we've really taken our financial month seriously within the GMA group. And I want to believe that after she's come to eTV, we're going to get her to go to Happy FM, YFM round, and then she's going to be having the financial conversations with you all. So we're not ending with you. We're going to continue this conversation around financial tip. So I said I was going to open the phone line. So if you are by your phone, please give us that call. I know that the phones may be jammed sometimes, but keep trying, okay? Keep trying. And once you get through, I just hope it's going to be a lady. The last time when we had the phones jammed, I was saying I wanted to be a lady who's going to call first. And luckily for me, it was a lady. And I was so excited about it. I want a lady to call in because Pearl is somebody who is really passionate about empowering women financially. So we need to have a lot of women listening and then also getting the education that we want them to have around financial management in their home. Okay, so what do you say about piggy bank? Do you think it's something we really need to, use to, in our children?
Perfect. I would give a personal testimony.
Okay.
So in January, I had to travel briefly with my child. And honestly, traveling with children is always something. You spend more.
Easy.
And January, because of the year of return, tickets were very expensive. So I opened my son's piggy box. I won't mention how much I got in there.
But it was interesting.
Yes,
from the way you're smiling.
It was interesting. And I said to my mother that, no wonder you told me that my son, now when he sees money, so usually, you see money.
Please hold that thought. I hear somebody is calling right now. Hello?
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Oh, it's a guy. All right.
Yes.
Okay, so tell us your name and where you're calling from.
I'm calling from Oyarifa.
Oyarifa, okay. Please,
Yes.
what's your name? Stephen Odea Ponsa.
Yes.
Oh, Stephen.
Oh
my God. I'm fine, thank you.
Okay. Good work.
Okay, you're enjoying the show?
Yes. Talking of financial management.
Okay.
I think most of us take up jobs not considering the proximity from our house to the workplace.
Okay.
So I think that is something that should be considered.
Okay.
Because somebody who lives in Osu earns 1,000 cedis and works in Osu takes 1,000 cedis, and another person who lives in Osu works as a Kaneshi and also takes 1,000 cedis.
Okay.
These two, which of them can better manage his finances than the other?
Obviously, the one that lives closer.
Close by, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I think people should be advised when taking up a job.
Perfect.
Okay. Thank you very much,
Thank you
Uncle
very
Steve.
much.
Thank you so much. We
You're
appreciate
welcome.
the contribution.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, so you were telling us the story
Yes,
around...
I was telling you about my son's piggy box. So you realize that because he knows that I need to put money aside, sometimes when I come back from work, I have some
Loose
change and all that. So I personally would put it in there. But consistently, when he gets a gift, he quickly takes
Goes
it there.
there.
Although grandma and myself sometimes, when a gift is quite hefty, you want to,
Of course.
but
Put it
he
to better
knows,
use.
yes, he knows the essence of a piggy box. Probably I'll say because the mother is a banker. But it doesn't matter. It's just about we inculcating this in children right from the beginning. So you tell the child that this is your piggy box. And I'll advise parents to make the piggy box very colorful.
Okay.
You color it and put a few glitters around it just to excite the child. That's what my piggy box is. So it excites the child. The child always wants to drop something in it. And it is very important. And so I would advise that don't compromise on that. And make sure that even if you can decide and say, okay, every month I want to give my son 100 Ghana cedis or 50 Ghana cedis. Make sure if it's not going to the bank, it's going into the piggy box.
All right. Thank you. We have another caller. Hello.
Hello, good evening, madam.
Hi, good evening. Please, what's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Kojampon. I'm calling from Sodro.
Kojaponsa from Sodro. Okay,
Yes.
talk to us, please.
Yes, I think it's a nice program. Personally, I'm also an advocate of financial literacy.
Okay.
But you see, there's something that in most cases we tend to forget. There's a missing link somewhere. Okay? If you're asking somebody to make savings of, let's say, 30% of the salary, how much is the person earning? Okay? So there's a logic behind the whole thing. Are you getting it?
Yes.
I think what we should advise people in most cases is that they should take up more jobs, okay, 2 or 3, so that they can earn more and they can save more. Because if you don't earn more, you can't save more.
Okay.
Are you getting it?
Yes.
So it is very, very important for people to understand that, yes, we need to manage our finances, but if you don't have more, you can't save more.
Okay.
Okay, I think that's what I want to put across.
Thank you
Very
very
important.
much. We really appreciate your contribution. So please
You're
keep
welcome,
watching the
madam.
show, okay? Bye. All right, so before we take leave of you, I'd like to let you know that Global Media Alliance is presenting a webinar series, and the theme is around impact of COVID-19 on the events and hospitality industries. And our guest on the day will be Akwesi Ajiman, Chief Executive Officer, Ghana Tourism Authority. Bella, she's also the president of Ghana Tourism Federation. We'll have Theresa Ayoade, co-founder and executive director, Multiple Concepts Group. And we'll also have Ernest Boateng, chief executive officer, Global Media Alliance. And our presenter and host for the day is going to be our very own Fatih Ali Shuaibu, who is a broadcast journalist. And when is this happening? It's going to be coming up on Friday, June the 12th, 2020. And the time is 10 a.m. to 12 noon. It's going to be via Zoom. So you need to be able to come on eTVGhana, and then you get the registration link. Once you get to eTVGhana on Facebook and Twitter and all our social media pages, you'll be able to get the link, and then you join the conversation on Friday, June the 12th, 2020. So people, we've come to the end of the show. How time flies. But we cannot take leave of you without just letting her give our audience just one financial tip, or just to say, okay, your final words to the audience, and then we call it today.
Okay. So what I'll say is that the gentleman who just called made it straightforward. Money is never enough. That's the first thing. No matter how small you earn, make sure you put some aside. And also make sure that you tap into your passion, and make sure that your passion is making you money.
Okay.
I'll end with a quote by Dave Revens. He says that when you don't budget, it's like you don't know where your money is going. So budgeting is actually telling you that the money is going here, instead of asking yourself, where is my money going to? So I would like to entreat everybody to at least put something on paper. Even if it doesn't work, you know you are consistently focusing on it. And set goals that are very realistic, so that we can all have a good home and a happy home. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. We do appreciate your, coming to grace our program today. And like I said, we will definitely be coming back to have more financial conversations with you.
Always
okay, so
welcome.
viewers, Saturday 12 noon is the repeat broadcast of this show. So if you did not start with us, you can get to watch the show from the beginning on Saturday at 12 noon. And if you're watching us for the first time, the show comes to you every Tuesday at 4 p.m. So see you same time next week. Bye-bye.